videos that aren't trivia or personal questions, because I feel like that's all I do, but I have yet to find something that people actually watch. Like when I post something new, it just doesn't get any views, but we'll see how this one does. I thought it would be funny. So I am going to be reading stories from the Am I the Asshole thread on Reddit. It's basically a thread where people post, like, this situation happened to me and somebody's mad at me. Am I the asshole in this situation? Or am I not? Like, was I justified? And I always think they're fun to read, and so I thought it would be fun to read them to you just for some entertainment, and you can let me know if you think these people are the asshole in that situation. Hopefully asshole isn't like a bad word to say on YouTube, because I'm going to be saying it a lot. Whatever. Okay, so let's get started. Hopefully this works, hopefully it's fun. So the first one is going to be, am I the asshole for telling my mom to shut the F up since she's a liar and her opinion doesn't matter? Sounds like you could be, but let's read. Okay. My dad died when I, 18 male, was only 6. My parents had separated at the time, and mom was already dating her husband at that point. They decided to get married and give me a family unit after dad losing dad. I don't know what that means. Then within a few months, they were sitting me down to say they wanted to change my last name to their last name. Mom said it was important so that her husband could do his part to take care of me without issues concerning last names. I told her I wanted to keep my last name and her husband wasn't my dad, and I didn't want to lose more of dad. I even cried about how important it was to me. She and her husband promised me repeatedly that they would pay for me to change my name back as soon as I was 17 or 18, and it was only to make life easier when I was younger and people would make life more difficult for her husband to do certain things with me. I always regretted it, but believed for a long time they'd follow through. But about a year ago, when I mentioned it to my mom, she told me there was no rush, and I told her I wanted the name change before graduation so I could have it on my diploma. There was a lot of back and forth, and her husband decided to add his own "what's the big deal anyway" comments occasionally. He'd also say his name had been my name longer than Dad's name had been at that point, and I said I didn't care, and I wanted my actual name back that was my actual dad's name too. Eventually my mom admitted she wasn't going to pay for me to change it back, and she believed I should keep her husband's name because he'd raised me for so long and had done so much. I said no. She told me it wasn't my choice, and I told her she would not stop me once I turned 18. I also told her that she was never going to have a good relationship with me again after lying to me and letting me down. She called me overdramatic, but I spent the rest of my time living with them cold and somewhat hostile, and I shut them out as much as I could. Mom kept and still keeps trying. I moved out of their house and in with my cousin, and I filed the day after my 18th birthday to change my name back. My court date is coming up very soon, and my mom knows about it because of extended family. She has tried to forbid me from changing my last name back, and she even lied and said her husband adopted me too, so I couldn't. But I confirmed that didn't happen. Eventually she told me I was disrespecting them as my parents. I told her then to shut the F up because she's a liar, and I don't care what she has to say about this because her opinion does not matter here. My mom started crying, and I told her good. I told her that she lost me over this, and it was her own damn fault. I told her I would never have said yes to the change had I known, and I told her to suck it up because she was not in charge of me anymore. Some extended family are backing my mom because of how I spoke to her, and mom told me I had no reason to speak to her like I did. he wants to keep part of his dad, which is valid. Okay. Am I the asshole for not responding when someone doesn't use my actual name? My 16 male name is Nico, and it's not short for anything. On my birth certificate, it says Nico, middle name, last name. This is something a few people can't understand, and some people call me Nicholas. Even teachers who see me on the class list as Nico and not Nicholas. I'm a foster kid. I've been in the system since I was 2. My mom is the only bio family I know, but she's not able to take care of me. I see her twice a year through court-ordered visits, but nobody in her family, and I don't have anything to do with my paternal side. I've been with my current foster family for 3 years, and I'm really happy with my foster parents and foster siblings. My foster parents actually want to help the kids they foster, and their kids are cool with their parents fostering, and don't bully me or others for stealing their families. So I hope to get to stay until I age out of the system. My only problem is some of their extended family are snobs, and they don't like calling me Nico, so they call me Nicholas even after being corrected 1,000,000 times. My foster parents have explained that my name is actually Nico, not Nicholas, but the reply is always, but Nico is short for Nicholas. A couple of the extended family have encouraged me to change my name because Nicholas sounds much more professional for an adult male, which I will be soon. I was like, no thanks. My foster parents told me I should ignore whenever someone calls me Nicholas now, unless they're new and just assume, but I can ignore their family members who do it. So that's what I did. I've ignored them a handful of times now, and it bothers them so much. Yesterday it happened twice because one kept trying to call me Nicholas over and I just didn't go. The other asked Nicholas to pass the potatoes at dinner, and I kept eating and didn't pass anything. I was then called out for ignoring them, and my foster parents said nobody knew who they were talking to because there was no Nicholas at the table. One of my foster sisters said she assumed it was her Nicole, and they got confused, and that's why she passed it instead. I was told I should be more open to the wisdom others offer with name suggestions, and stop being rude by ignoring people. Even though my foster parents backed me up again, it made me feel away because this really is my best foster experience, and I don't want to piss off people in my foster family. You are not the asshole, especially when this is such a repeated thing, and I love that the foster parents are on his side. I love that they're telling him to ignore his extended family. That's cool. I like that. So I don't think you're the asshole. That would annoy me so bad if people called me the wrong name all the time. Especially when it's not even your name at all. It's annoying enough if people don't respect your nickname or whatever, but yeah. It always kind of annoys me when I worked a customer service job for years and would always sign off my emails with Pamela, and so many times customers would get back to me and be like, hey Pam, this isn't gonna work, or whatever, hey Pam, and that just felt so patronizing to me. I like when my friends call me Pam, but if I sign off a business email with Pamela, please type out the extra 3 letters, call me Pamela. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I'm done with his help around the house? My husband, 34 male, and I, 31 female, have been together for 8 years and married for 5. We both work full-time, so we've always split household chores, but here's the thing, his version of helping is a nightmare. For example, I'll ask him to help with laundry. He'll agree, but instead of sorting things like delicates or checking pockets, he just throws everything into the washer on one setting. That's me. This has ruined clothes and stained things beyond repair. Same thing happens in the kitchen. He helps by making a mess while cooking, but he leaves everything piled up in the sink and somehow manages to dirty every dish and pan. I've tried teaching him, suggesting easier ways, even leaving little checklists, but he always says he knows what he's doing and dismisses my advice. I end up spending double the time either fixing what he did or doing things over from scratch. And whenever I bring it up, he says he's trying his best, or accuses me of being too picky and controlling. This came to a head recently when he helped me by cleaning up our living room right before my friends came over. I thought he'd done a great job until one of my friends found my birth control pills in the junk drawer because he decided to tidy by throwing everything into random places. I was embarrassed, but when I told him, he laughed it off. So last night I told him I'm done with his help and would rather just do everything by myself if he's not willing to do things properly. He got upset, saying he's just trying to make things easier for me, and now I'm criticizing him for helping. Now he's barely speaking to me, and I'm feeling conflicted. I don't think you're the asshole for being mad at him, like for being mad that he's doing things wrong, but I think maybe you should have a, adult conversation with him about, this is why this is not helpful for me, and this is the damage you've caused to our clothes, and, I understand that you're trying to help, and I really appreciate that, but if you're going to help, I need you to do this, this, and this. Yeah, I don't know. Something adult, I would say. Okay, this one is one that people have voted that they're the asshole. The other ones have been ones where people have voted they're not, so let's read this one. Am I the asshole for asking my sister to replace my jelly beans after her son ate them? So I, a 25 male, recently invited my family over for dinner at my new condo. I'm really proud of this place. It took years of saving, hard work, and sacrifice to get here. It's small, but it's mine, and I wanted to celebrate with a nice family dinner. I decided to make homemade spaghetti carbonara, and I spent hours on it. Now I keep a big jar of jelly beans on my coffee table as a treat. I love picking out a few here and there, and I always save the cream soda ones for last. They're my favorite. The jar has lasted a long time, and it's something I enjoy after a long day. My sister Laura, 35 female, brought her 7-year-old son, who's honestly a bit of a handful. He's not used to hearing no and thinks every space is his to do what he wants. My sister has never set limits with him, and growing up, our parents spoiled her too. When I was busy in the kitchen, my nephew found the jelly bean jar. I didn't notice at first because I was trying to get the carbonara just right. After dinner, I went to grab a handful of jelly beans and realized that almost all of the cream soda ones were gone. My nephew had picked them out, leaving a mess of crumbs and broken bits. I pulled Laura aside and mentioned it, asking if she'd noticed. She just shrugged and said, "Oh, he only likes the cream soda ones, so he picked those out. No big deal." I tried to be polite, but I told her that those were my favorites and asked if she could replace them, or at least give me some more of the cream soda flavor. She got annoyed and snapped, "He's just a kid. You're seriously worked up over some jelly beans." I told her it wasn't about the jelly beans, but that it would have been nice if she'd kept an eye on him or taught him to ask. Laura rolled her eyes and said, "Then don't leave temptations out if you don't want kids touching them." parents jumped in to back her up, telling me to drop it, and that I should know better than to have temptations around kids. But it's not just about the money, it's about respect and boundaries. I put a lot into that dinner, and her response was to let her son treat my place like his personal candy store. Now my family thinks I'm overreacting, but to me, this is about respecting boundaries. You're kind of the asshole. I would probably be like a little upset too. Like, I'd be like, come on, like, pay attention to your son, or like ask him to, like, teach him to ask or be polite. But come on, asking her to replace the jelly beans when you left them out. Like, if you leave them out, people are gonna eat them. That's, my mom leaves candy on the table and she like wants people to take it. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I think you're the asshole for asking her to replace them, not the asshole for being a little peeved about it. Yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my mom she's rude after eating the dinner she made me? I have a food sensitivity to gluten. I've been to the allergy doctor and they have confirmed. My mom knows this and said she made my pasta separate from the rest of the dinner. Everyone else had ravioli and my mom made me gluten-free pasta. I ate a bowl of pasta and said thank you. A few minutes later, I asked my mom if the sauce had flour in it. She shook her head no and then said a little. I didn't say anything right away. I was confused because she made a statement that mine was gluten-free, and I didn't think to ask her about the sauce. After dinner, I told her she should have told me that there was flour in the sauce, and she said something like, whatever, it was only a little, and you had allergies anyway. I told her that was rude and walked away. She didn't even give me an option if I want to choose to suffer the consequences or not from eating flour. Yeah, you're not the asshole. That's crazy that your mom knew there was flour and gave it to you. She should have at least said, hey, this sauce has flour in it. Do you want it? I kind of want to read another one where the person is the asshole, but I feel like most of them, people decide that they're not the asshole because, like, why would you post something if you were the asshole? Like, I guess you don't think you are, but I don't know. Okay, here's one that people voted was an asshole. Am I the asshole for not forgiving my sister for this? I would delve right into the situation at hand, but to understand it, you will need some context. Many years ago, when I was a few weeks shy of being 10, my sister ended up twisting her knee. For some reason, I found this funny and continually teased her about it. Eventually, I stopped, but I still made jokes about it from time to time until I was about 11. Just a few days ago, I ended up twisting my knee. It was painful, and I was stuck on the floor of the house for a solid 10 minutes, not being able to do anything. I would have asked my mother to help me, but she was in the shower. So I call out for my sister, who walks up to me and proceeds to laugh in my face. She just continually teases me until she goes back to her room, leaving me there unable to walk and move at all, really. Eventually I was able to get up, but only after about 30 minutes. Am I the asshole here? People voted that he was the asshole. I kind of think not that much. Like, I don't know, you were 10 when you laughed about her twisting her knee. I don't know how old they are now, but like, if he was legitimately like struggling on the floor, it would have been nice to help, you know? If I were her, I would have laughed and been like, oh, now you see how it feels, and then helped him up. So, I don't know. They're both kind of the asshole in that situation. Let's see. Am I the asshole for secretly recording my mom yelling at me and showing her the video? So I, 20 female, still live with my mom because I'm going to college and working part-time to save for my own place. My mom, 50 female, has a short temper, and when her and my dad separated in 2010, that's when she started yelling at me a lot. She has always gotten mad and yelled at me over the littlest things. This has caused me to have anxiety around her. I love my mom, and I know deep down she's a good person, but she has to learn to control her temper. This afternoon she was screaming at me because I had my window open while she had the AC on, but I didn't even know she turned the AC on, and I only had my window open for 10 minutes to let out the smoke from my candle. While she was screaming at me, I decided to secretly record her so I could show her how horrible she speaks to me when she's mad. I showed her the video 10 minutes ago and she started crying. I feel really bad about this. I didn't mean to make her upset, but I just want her to stop yelling all the time, and I was hoping the video could make her realize how bad the yelling is. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're an asshole, but I'm kind of curious, like, I think before recording a video and then confronting your mom with it, probably should have, like, talked to her about it and been like, hey, I really don't like the way you yell at me, like, you yell at me a lot, and then if she denied it, then maybe do the video, because that might be a little too confronting if, I don't know, if you just, like, confront her with the video. Okay, let's see. Some of these, like, don't have very many upvotes, and I'm like, I want to do ones that are popular, you know. Am I the asshole for trying to leave a family function when my wife's relative, who was abusive to me, arrived? My wife, 30 female, and I, 40 female, live in her home country in Central Asia. Today was her mom's 50th birthday, and there was a big event with relatives. Unfortunately, her mother's sister is married to an alcoholic who has made threats to me, used racist language, and has insulted my relationship with my wife on ethnic principles, as well as making disparaging remarks about me being a foreigner, and as a result, an inappropriate father to my child. I have since told her mom and dad that I will not be in the same room as this person, as he has never made any attempt to make amends or apologize for what happened. We recently had our son's first birthday, and we banned him from the event due to his outrageous behavior. Today, I get to the event with my wife and son. 30 minutes later, he turns up. I am furious at this and get up to walk out. I'm then called back by my wife and her mom, and am told I need to take the higher ground and just tolerate it, and that she can't ban her own sister's husband as she is family. This has made me feel that the family are just sweeping this under the rug, and that I'm being expected to just shut up and toe the line, to not cause a scene and wreck her mom's day. Have just come home and told my wife that I feel her family has sided with the drunk uncle, and the abuse I received has been justified, as they are just ignoring the issue and letting him be a part of family events. I was livid to see her dad hugging the uncle at the end of the evening, and I feel betrayed and treated as lesser because I'm a foreigner. This has resulted in a blowout, and I've been accused of being the asshole, as I won't back down asshole, but, like, I also kind of understand the family side. Like, I don't know, if they have heard all of these comments that the uncle is making towards you, they should be sticking up for you. Like, they should be saying something. I'm not saying that they should, like, I don't think that they should be uninviting the uncle from everything, because, like, he is family. But they should be sticking up for you. Okay, let's do one more. I want to find one for someone who's the asshole. Okay. This looks like a good one. Pretty long, but. Am I the asshole? Wife 24 female thinks I'm 32 male being sneaky because I don't want her and the boys to come on my work trips. I'm very fortunate to work a job that pays well and allows me to travel the world doing what I love. But sometimes with a wife and 2 boys and job that requires you to travel isn't ideal. But I'm not interested in other work because like I said, it's what I love and I'm lucky and blessed financially. Sometimes I bring my wife and children on the trips, but this time I decided not to, and my wife is getting suspicious and thinks I'm sneaky. Honestly, I don't blame her. I can understand where she's coming from. Lovers get jealous or see red flags and ask questions. I understand that. I've had my moments of jealousy too, but the truth is I don't want to bring her and the kids because it stops being a work trip and becomes a vacation where I also have to work while also catering to her and the boys. In her mind, it's like in her mind I'm not working. This person does not use periods or commas, but instead of a 3-day trip where I go to work and come back home, it now becomes a week plus long vacation where we have to do all the tourist things I've done a million times for the last several years. A vacation with 2 boys isn't the most peaceful vacation in the world either, but she thinks I'm being sneaky. The truth is, I'd rather go do what I have to do, watch some TV in the hotel room without the boys screaming, smoke some weed, and come back to my family in a couple days. I do enjoy small periods alone, but it's not like I have some secret family I'm traveling to see. Nor am I planning trips to purposefully get away when it happens. I do enjoy it by myself. This has caused suspicion and a rift in my household. Should I just tell her to come? But wouldn't that be more suspicious, like she caught me? Does that mean I can't take any trips without them anymore? I have to bring them every time. No more solo work trips. I've gone on these trips long before even meeting my wife. What should I do? I don't think you're necessarily the asshole. People voted that he was the asshole. I think it's extremely valid to want to go on trips alone, especially like he said with it becoming like a week-long trip where he has to do all of these touristy things and also still has to work and deal with his kids and everything. Like, that's a lot. I can understand not wanting to do that all the time, but the part where he's like, it's my time to just like be away from home, watch some TV and smoke some weed, that's a little, I don't like that, because it's like, does your wife get that time? Does your wife get to get away from the boys and you and go smoke some weed in a hotel room? Like, if not, then you're kind of being selfish by just expecting her to take care of everything at home every time you go off and do your own thing. Yeah. So, you're kind of the asshole for not realizing that, but I don't think you're the asshole for wanting to go on trips alone. Alright, I think we'll stop there. This was pretty fun. I feel like I could do way more videos with these Am I the Asshole threads, because there are so many of them. Like, I me know if you would want to see any of those. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. So